Bullies who think they're invincible don't always get away unscathed. When they pick the wrong people to intimidate, things can quickly take a turn. Today, you'll witness surprising moments where those who tried to dominate ended up learning the hard way. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Binge Banzo channel. Let's go. This bully seemed to be overflowing with confidence and recklessness. Determined to impress, he ripped off his shirt arrogantly, taking exaggerated steps and mimicking professional fighter moves. But the grand performance became a big joke in just a few seconds. Trying to intimidate his opponent further, he attempted a high kick, perhaps to show off his skills. However, the strategy backfired spectacularly. His foot got hilariously stuck in the fence, sending him tumbling to the ground. What should have been a fight turned into an embarrassing comedy show. Why do some people feel the need to bother animals? An intense commotion broke out on a crowded subway in China, though it's unclear what caused it or how it began. What is known is that a man wearing a mask seemed to be at his wit's end. Frustrated, he began arguing with a group of young people not wearing masks, something that clearly upset him. The already tense atmosphere escalated rapidly into something far more aggressive. Suddenly, he lost control and slapped one of the young women, which triggered a full-blown explosion. The slap acted like a spark, igniting the fury of everyone present. Observers quickly jumped into action, and anger spread like wildfire. Within seconds, a crowd surrounded the man, furious about his behavior. The scene verged on chaos, and he was almost lynched right there in the subway car. Luckily for him, he managed to escape before the situation got any worse. This shirtless, audacious individual seemed determined to cause trouble that night. He approached a group of people peacefully gathered on the sidewalk and began provoking them. When he attempted to punch one of the group members, it became clear he was eager for a fight. What he didn't anticipate, however, was that fate had other plans. Just as the chaos was about to erupt, a police car appeared out of nowhere, like something out of a movie. Without wasting time, the officers stopped their vehicle and got out quickly. Before the bully could say anything or try to run, one of the officers fired a taser, putting an abrupt end to the man's display of arrogance. In seconds, the bully was apprehended and taken away, proving that fate doesn't forgive those who pick the wrong moment to stir up trouble. This bully managed to turn a daring escape into a complete disaster. After breaking out of jail, he decided the best use of his newfound freedom was to break travel restrictions during the lockdown to buy a video game. Yes, a video game. As if that wasn't risky enough, he crossed paths with some police officers and thought it would be a great idea to pick a fight. In a moment of sheer desperation, or arrogance, he kicked one of the officers in the most sensitive spot possible. Within seconds, the other officers surrounded him, leaving him with no way to escape. His disguise fell apart, and what could have been a successful getaway ended with him back behind bars. And all because of a video game.
Where was you born?
Born. 84, Clint Butler.
Martin Square, back up, shit! Get up! Get up!
In a cafe in Canada, a man known for his history of causing trouble showed up again, ready to make a scene. Despite already being persona non grata at the establishment, he entered aggressively, ignoring the fact that the staff didn't want him there. When politely asked to leave, the man lost control and began threatening the workers, moving in an intimidating manner. The tension rose, but then a true unlikely hero emerged. Another cafe employee stepped in, determined to protect his colleagues. Without hesitation, he grabbed a can of pepper spray and unleashed it on the troublemaker. Even after the first spray, the man tried to continue his antics, but he quickly realized he was no match for the determined employee and eventually left, with a bit more spray to help him along the way. A man, believing he had found an easy target, attempted to snatch an elderly woman's purse. He approached quickly, thinking his victim wouldn't have the strength or courage to resist. But what he didn't expect was to meet a true fighter who wasn't about to give up without a fight. When he tried to grab the purse, the woman shocked everyone by grabbing him with an impressive determination. She brought him to the ground with a force that seemed impossible for someone her age. Even as he struggled to break free, she held on to him firmly, refusing to let go until she had her purse back. Unable to escape the unyielding strength of the elderly woman, he finally gave up, released the purse, and fled. Despite the surprising scene, always remember that reacting to robberies is not a recommended course of action. A bully decided he needed more than just courage to commit a robbery. To intimidate further, he entered a bakery wearing a devil mask, thinking his menacing appearance would strike fear into everyone. What he didn't account for was that for people who deal with grumpy customers and work grueling 6-day weeks, not even the devil is intimidating. As soon as he announced the robbery, the employees didn't hesitate. Instead of retreating, they attacked him with everything they had. The bully barely had time to react before being met with a barrage of punches and kicks. But it didn't stop there. Fries flew, frying pans became improvised weapons, and the robber was forced to flee. A completely clueless man decided it would be a good idea to provoke a crocodile with his car, perhaps thinking the animal, known for its strength and aggressiveness, would back down in front of the machine. But what he didn't realize was that nature doesn't forgive, and the crocodile was more than ready to retaliate. As the man tried to irritate the reptile, the crocodile didn't hesitate. In one swift, brutal move, it clamped its powerful jaw around the rear of the vehicle and ended the encounter. This guy tried to kick an older man walking by, but didn't expect the man's leg to feel like it was made of steel. The young man ended up on the ground instead. A man entered a bar intending to talk to what seemed to be his ex-girlfriend. He approached her, started a conversation, but quickly realized the woman wasn't interested, ignoring all his attempts to reconnect. Desperate and irritated by the rejection, he didn't hesitate before becoming aggressive, trying to intimidate her. What he didn't expect was that the entire bar was watching. When he raised his hand against her, a wave of indignation swept through the room. Everyone around immediately united, moving toward the aggressor to stop him. Within seconds, the bully found himself surrounded by a crowd, determined to teach him a lesson. It was a peaceful afternoon, and a woman was working in her store, not imagining how unexpected the day would become. Suddenly, a man entered with clear intentions of taking advantage of the situation. Acting casual, he began harassing her, trying to get close in an unwanted manner. However, the woman, immediately realizing what was happening, didn't let herself be intimidated. Without hesitation, she reacted firmly and, in a swift act of self-defense, slapped the man, cutting off his attempt. But she didn't stop there. With great courage, she managed to lock him inside the store, ensuring he couldn't continue his disrespectful behavior. Trapped and humiliated, the man had to face the consequences of his actions. Shortly after, the woman returned, but this time, she wasn't alone. Some men, outraged by what had happened, joined her to ensure the aggressor faced justice. After a traffic dispute, a man, clearly upset, began arguing with a woman, perhaps due to stress or sheer provocation. In a completely despicable act, he, without considering the consequences, spat in her face, attempting to intimidate and disrespect her even more. However, what he didn't know was that someone was watching. A delivery rider, parked in the background, observed the scene, and his patience reached its limit upon witnessing the blatant disrespect. Without hesitation, he approached and, with one swift and decisive movement, shoved the bully, causing him to fall to the ground in a humiliating manner.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go then.
A high school bully was suspended and instructed to leave the school campus, but refused to comply, prompting the police to be called.
We're besides the front office. Well, I am. So let's go.
The situation escalated when the student, after receiving the suspension notice, began physically resisting as the officers escorted her. She attempted to take alternate routes within the school, disregarding staff safety instructions, which led to a firmer approach by authorities.
Relax, relax. We just need you to exit campus, that's it. So we can walk with you to campus, like off campus. Come on, don't do this. You're making it worse than what it needs to be.
Stop. Stop.
Relax.
Stop.
Her resistance to the order to leave the campus resulted in her detention. She was handcuffed after resisting the officer's escort, proving that there's no room for tough attitudes in life.
Man, these things hard. You got the handcuffs.
Luckily, like I said, you're only going to be in there for a couple minutes.
Do you know what this kid looks like?
In Florida, a concerning incident prompted police action after a report about a 16-year-old boy who, in a reckless and dangerous act, brought a loaded gun to school. The situation unfolded when a TikTok post showed the teenager flaunting the weapon on school grounds, catching the attention of others, who quickly reported it to authorities.
You know what I want to talk to you about? You don't know? Okay. All right. Do me a favor. Keep your hands out of your pockets for me. Okay. Take your backpack off for me. All right. So.
Police acted swiftly, arriving at the school to locate the boy. During a thorough search, they discovered the gun concealed at the teen's waist. Further investigation revealed that the teenager had stolen the gun from a relative before bringing it to school.
Sweatshirt up. Turn around for me. Turn around again. Lift your sweatshirt up again. What is that?
The outcome carried serious consequences for the boy, who now faces severe charges, including possession of a firearm on school property, theft of a firearm, and carrying a concealed weapon. To make matters worse, the relative filed formal charges against the teen for stealing the gun, complicating the case further. Before picking a fight, it's always wise to assess whether you're truly prepared for what's ahead. In the United States, a heated argument in traffic led a man to confront his adversary with full confidence. However, upon taking a second look, he realized he was up against a true giant. In the blink of an eye, bravery turned into pure self-preservation, and he ran back to his car, preferring to be labeled a coward rather than face the massive man. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The adversary caught up to him, dragged him out, and tossed him into the back of a pickup truck like a toy.
One seat off. So if I were to move over one seat, everything.
Bullies also show up in movie theaters. A man, seated in a chair, decided to occupy a seat that wasn't assigned to him. When politely asked to move to his correct seat, he refused, insisting on staying where he was. The theater staff called management to resolve the issue, but the man remained defiant. In the end, the manager had to ask him to leave the theater. As a result, the clueless bully was escorted out, and the movie session resumed as planned.
Because of your silly ass.
I apologize about that.
Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy your movie.
In London, some tourists, trying to be humorous, crossed the line while taking disrespectful photos with a royal guard, treating him like a mere tourist attraction and completely ignoring his authority. The provocation reached a point where the guard, visibly uncomfortable, stepped away. At that moment, a police officer appeared to intervene, reprimanding the tourists and ordering them to stop their reckless behavior. In the United States, a woman was stopped by a police officer after it was discovered that her car's taillight was broken.
Get you to sign there with the Exodus.
So you don't even give a warning for this?
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
I'm truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
But you've seen me in here. You've seen me in town.
No, I haven't.
You've had to. I've been.
During the conversation, the officer found out she had been driving with the broken light for about 6 months. Left with no other choice, he issued a ticket for $80, thinking the matter would end there. However, the driver, in a defiant manner, decided to escalate things.
You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
I'm placing you under arrest. Step out.
You are full of shit because you're not placing me under no damn arrest.
She refused to sign the ticket, insulted the officer, and impulsively tried to flee. Her attempt, however, was short-lived. Within minutes, the officer caught up to her and, due to her resistance, had to use a taser to subdue her. The result? She was handcuffed and taken to the station. Perhaps paying the $80 from the start would have been wiser. In a mix of recklessness and disrespect, a young man decided to record a video mocking a royal guard, ridiculing his authority for no reason.
Yeah, stop being so goddamn rude. Yeah, you fuck off. You rude bastard.
The scene caught the attention of some elderly bystanders, who promptly scolded him, trying to make him understand how inappropriate his behavior was. But instead of backing down, the young man responded with hostility, worsening the situation. The inevitable happened. The police were called, and within minutes, he was handcuffed and taken away. Yet another bully who regretted provoking the royal guard.
Oh, look at that, arrested.
During a heated traffic argument, a driver lost his temper and tried to act dangerously. He decided to swerve his car toward a delivery rider on a motorcycle, believing he could knock him down. However, his reckless maneuver had an unexpected outcome. Instead of causing an accident for the motorcyclist, the driver became the victim of his own imprudence, ending up in an accident himself. In Sobral, Brazil, a 37-year-old man caused a tense moment at a gas station when he threatened an attendant with an iron bar. With an aggressive attitude, he hurled a series of insults and challenged the worker, asking if he could stand his ground against the threat. However, the bully's courage quickly vanished when he noticed the arrival of the police. The aggressor attempted to flee, but his efforts were in vain. The police captured him within minutes, and the bully ended up cooling his head in jail. A woman, clearly frustrated by the delay of her flight, directed her anger at a bartender who was just doing his job.
Excuse me?
Oh, don't get angel, please. Come on.
I will fucking kill you when you stand.
Amid shouting and insults, she even made threats, claiming she would kill him. As the situation escalated, the police were called. In just a few minutes, officers arrived and promptly arrested the woman, who was taken out of the airport in custody.
I have an ambulance coming for you. Okay. I'm not going to hurt you. Just relax, okay?
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, come outside and talk to me.
No, exactly.
Come outside.
Police officers were called after multiple complaints from neighbors about excessively loud music coming from a house. Upon arrival, they found a scene of utter chaos. A visibly drunk man refused to turn down the music, ignoring requests for silence. When the officers tried to intervene, he played the role of a lawyer, repeatedly insisting they didn't have permission to enter.
Come outside and talk to me.
You can't do that. No. You can't do that. You know you can't do that.
You do understand I'm here
No,
because
you
I'm
can't.
for a
No,
complaint
you
noise.
can't do that, though.
Okay, you want to step outside?
No. I'm saying on my side of my property.
Showing patience, the officers attempted to negotiate, hoping to resolve the issue peacefully. However, all attempts were frustrated as the man refused to cooperate. Left with no other choice, the police broke down the door. Once inside, they managed to control the situation and arrest the man responsible for the disturbance. A bizarre and tense episode unfolded in Port Orange, Florida, involving a man named William Boosie. It all began when an employee at a tobacco shop called the police, reporting that Boosie was causing a disturbance, threatening both the staff and customers. Upon arrival, the officer found William visibly out of control, displaying a defiant attitude. He not only challenged the officer's authority, but also declared that he would sue him, making the situation even more surreal. As if in a movie scene, Boosie began performing karate moves in an attempt to intimidate the officer.
I know.
Don't want to do
black
this.
belt in karate, a black belt in judo.
You understand
You're
your
gonna be in a world
trespass
of hurt. Yes, I understand you, mother.
Okay.
Now get the out of my.
The climax came when, in a completely unexpected act, he threw a piece of meat, apparently from his lunch, at the officer. Despite the almost comedic scene, the officer kept his composure and managed to restrain William Boosie, who was ultimately arrested and taken into custody.
Back right now. Put your other hand behind your back right now. Okay. Right now. Put your other hand behind your back. Jesus Christ. Put your hand behind your back.
It's not just men who stage acts of misplaced bravery. In Araraquara, at the Santa Casa de Misericordia hospital, a woman caused a major commotion by confronting nurses, ignoring the hospital's rules, and challenging any attempt at control. The situation escalated quickly, forcing the staff to call 2 military police officers. However, instead of calming down in the presence of authority, she went on the offensive, hurling insults and threats. Her behavior became even more aggressive when she directly confronted the officers. Her rampage only ended when the police, acting firmly, handcuffed her and placed her in custody, putting an end to the chaos. Apparently, the cure for a bully is another bully. A reckless driver decided to test his luck by challenging a truck driver. Making offensive gestures and flipping the middle finger in an act of arrogance. However, his audacity had an unexpected outcome when the truck hit his car, turning the situation into a tense moment. As he stepped out of his vehicle to confront what had happened, he realized he had underestimated the situation. The truck driver, who emerged from the cab, was an imposing figure, far more intimidating than he had imagined. Without saying a word, the driver backed off and returned to his car, leaving his bravado behind. Sometimes fate places a bully in the path of someone who doesn't tolerate intimidation, and the outcome is rarely good. On a crowded train, a man began threatening a group of young people, shouting and trying to intimidate them. The atmosphere was heavy with tension, as the young people were visibly distressed, unsure of how to respond. However, another passenger decided to act. Without hesitation, he stood up and confronted the aggressor, facing him firmly. Before the bully could react, the passenger took action, surprising everyone and putting an end to the threats in the train car.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
Bro.
Confronting the police never ends well.
My man nothing. My man nothing. My man nothing. My man nothing. Boss nothing. Boss nothing. Boss nothing. Boss nothing. No, and he ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. And that's no. Do.
Oh, bro, you drawn, bro.
In the end, most of the time, those who try to act tough end up behind bars. In an act of extreme recklessness, a man decided it would be funny to urinate on a police car. The scene, which he probably thought would be daring and attention-grabbing, quickly turned into a disaster for the bully. Before he could finish, the nearby officer intervened. With no time for excuses or explanations, the man was handcuffed on the spot and taken straight to the station, ending his failed attempt to appear bold.
You're being recorded. You're being recorded.
Behind your back.
Hey, shoe, give me a shoe.
It is a section, lads.
The driver of the car in front couldn't have chosen a worse moment to act like a bully in traffic, as right behind him was a police car that quickly put an end to his antics. A cyclist, for no apparent reason, decided to spit on a parked car as he passed by. However, his action was met with immediate karma. Within seconds, he received an instant lesson, a refreshing splash of water. This flashy guy was caught red-handed while trying to litter the streets by lighting a flare. His irresponsible attempt to cause disorder was quickly interrupted by a passing police officer on a motorcycle, putting an end to the prank and likely leaving him with a fine. Thank you so much for watching the video up to this point. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming content. See you next time.